What if the key to completely changing the physical and mental identity of the Toronto Maple Leafs is hidden in a quiet trade, almost unnoticed by the major outlets, but carrying potential to transform the way the team behaves when the pressure is at its peak? Picture the scene: a roster stacked with forwards, talent spread across all lines, but with some of them on the verge of losing ice time and their place in the rotation. Now, imagine a surgical, calculated move where one of those names is sacrificed not for a lack of skill, but for fit. In return, arrives a 6 feet 6 inches giant, capable of occupying the crease with authority and turning every puck battle into a physical war the opponent would rather avoid. It's a trade that for some may look like just another adjustment, but for those who understand the dynamics of playoffs, carries the weight of decision that changes destinies. The Leafs have lived through moments like this before. Moves that, at first glance, didn't seem spectacular, but in the long run revealed themselves as key pieces in defining seasons. The Toronto fan base, the Leafs Nation, knows all too well the tension of each change. After all, in a city where hockey is a religion, every trade, every contract signing, and every lineup cut is debated like chapters of national drama. And now, with such a deep group of forwards, management faces a choice: keep everyone in risk having underused talent, despite still playing at a high level, to bring the profile the team short-term desperately needs. Before we dive deeper into the storyline, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because here we break down every detail, every behind-the-scenes move, and every rumor that could truly change the direction of the franchise. Be part of this community that lives every play as if it were overtime in a conference final. The proposal, revealed by Heavy.com, is clear and straightforward. The Toronto Maple Leafs would send Bobby McMann to the St. Louis Blues in exchange for Alexei Toropchenko, a one-for-one deal. On paper, it seems simple, but the layers of this negotiation reveal far more than cold numbers. McMahon, who scored 20 goals and 14 assists in the last regular season, is entering the final year of a 2-year contract with a total of $2.7 million. But his strong regular season production didn't carry over when the ice got heavier. In 13 playoff games, he didn't score a single goal. Toropchenko, on the other hand, had a modest regular season with just 18 points in 80 games, but elevated his game in the postseason, tallying 4 points in 7 games and proving that his physical, straightforward style works best when space is tight and intensity is high. Behind this potential deal lies a layer of familiarity that cannot be ignored. Craig Berube, the Leafs' current head coach and former Blues bench boss, knows Toropchenko personally. He coached him for parts of 2 seasons in St. Louis and understands how to get the best out of him. That factor matters, because a coach's trust in the incoming player can speed up adaptation and ensure he's used in the right role from day one. Toronto is looking for exactly that: a forward who can play either wing, use his body to create space, and bring a physical dimension the current roster lacks in abundance. For the Blues, the motivation is equally logical. Bringing in McMahon means adding a finisher with room to grow, capable of contributing secondary scoring at a relatively low cap hit. The impact of this trade, if it goes through, isn't limited to the stat sheet. With Toropchenko, the Leafs gain tactical flexibility. He can line up on either the left or right side, and his forecheck presence can wear down opposing defensemen over the course of a series. In the playoffs, where every detail matters, a player of this profile may not light up the score sheet every night, but he influences pace and puck control. Without the trade, McMahon remains an unknown. He could reinvent himself and solidify his spot, proving that his regular season numbers are his true level, or he could end up relegated to the role of 13 forward, seeing limited action. For St. Louis, adding McMahon would be a bet on a player who, if he finds consistency, could deliver that one decisive goal that changes the course of a game. There's also a delicate point. McMahon was undrafted, and his journey to the NHL was marked by hard work and persistence. That mentality can be valuable in any locker room. But when the coach and management feel the on-ice contribution doesn't match the potential, the market becomes a real option. TSN analyst Brian Hayes even said he's not convinced McMahon will have a spot on opening night. In his words, McMahon doesn't play as well as the credentials suggest and was awful in the playoffs, reinforcing the idea that Toronto might be ready to move him. At the same time, Toropchenko carries a $1.7 million contract for next season and will be an unrestricted free agent at its conclusion. That means Toronto wouldn't just be testing a player for the playoffs, but also evaluating his fit for the future. It's a move that combines prior knowledge, tactical need, and of course, calculated risk. The question is it worth giving up a scorer who has yet to prove himself in the playoffs to bet on a physical specialist who has already shown he can perform under pressure? Should Toronto prioritize physical presence and the coach's trust, or hold on to the hope that McMahon could break out offensively next season? I want to know what you would do if you were in the Leafs front office. Is this trade a sure step forward or a gamble that could backfire? Leave your opinion in the comments and keep watching, because in the next video we'll dive into another rumor that could shake up this roster even more and maybe change the way Toronto approaches the postseason. Stay tuned, because the ice is about to shake.